Here we are welcoming yet another episode of Justified City Primeval with yet another disappointment. As you all know, I watched the first 2 episodes of this show with major enthusiasm, and in the end, despite some major issues, I highlighted that the show still had a lot of potential that can come to fruition in the upcoming episodes. As a 3rd episode, though, we're yet to see the show realizing its potential. In fact, I started to believe that this Raylan isn't the Raylan that we know and love from the original Justified series, but more on that later on. So without further ado, let's dive into the video. The episode had a promising start as we watch all the usual suspects, aka Sandy, Clement, and Sweetie, being interrogated by the police. In the previous episode, this was a major plot hole for me as they were let go despite the mounting evidence against them. But this episode took things seriously, and we watched that anticipated raid to Sweetie's bar. Though I have to admit that the interrogation scenes were quite underwhelming. I don't see the point in telling Clement that he is not a criminal mastermind rather than asking him the right questions to reveal his involvement in all these crimes. Another good point in this episode was that we finally get to see more of Carolyn's relationship with all these people. We still don't know how she found herself trapped in such a toxic web of relations, but we know that she is also not much happy with the situation she is in. To be honest, Carolyn might be the most fully fledged character on the show so far as we watch her relationship with a toxic ex, see her struggle with her career ambitions, as well as witnessing her moral dilemmas. All these make Carolyn more of a real human being than almost the rest of the cast, including Raylan. Yes, I know that's harsh, but as I said, I will talk more about Raylan later on. Thankfully, we watched Carolyn and Sweetie taking a step in the right direction, planning to set Clement up using the murder weapon. On that note, let's talk about Clement. I know that in comparison to a character like Carolyn, Clement seems a bit one-dimensional as neither his motives nor his background is clear so far, so he preserves his mysterious nature so far, and in my opinion, this is one of those rare occasions that knowing less about a character pays off. Clement is a great character, and I believe he shoulders the entire show almost single-handedly. Shout out to Boyd Holbrook for such a great portrayal. I believe he is the one that brings personality to an otherwise bland character whose only trait is to commit crimes and nothing more. Thanks to Holbrook, we are watching a charismatic, complicated, and somewhat uncanny Clement who is clearly a pure sociopath, which is my favorite type of villain. In this episode, we watched perhaps the most and even the only clever scene of the show so far when Clement stopped at the traffic lights and let other vehicles go over him to see who's following him. It was a really smart and unexpected move that made me think for a second that we are truly watching Justified. Then we moved on to watching his relationship with Sandy, which is clearly a sexual relationship with unbalanced power dynamics. The two are acting as siblings and rip off rich men. That's the gist of their current relationship. The man Sandy is seeing right now is a rich Albanian who is head over heels for this woman. I have to admit that when I first saw the Albanian guy in his scene with Raylan and heard that talk about the hot dogs, I found him a bit corny but likable. By the way, hot dogs are indeed sandwiches. Feel free to prove me wrong in the comments, please. As we continued to watch him, though, he got so dumb to the point of losing his believability. How stupid you should be to not realize that getting married to someone has nothing to do with this secret room. How he can't see that Clement demands the most ridiculous things from him under the pretense of letting him marry Sandy? Come on. The guy basically gave all his weapons to Clement with no questions asked. I get that he was drunk, but I don't think it's believable to see an averagely clever human being losing his survival instinct completely once he gets drunk. It just doesn't make any sense. At this point, I also agree that Clement is not a criminal mastermind, but people around him are so dumb that he seems like Einstein. Now you may ask, where's Raylan and all these? Well, he's busy with his unbearable daughter Willa. I don't think we watched Raylan doing any typical Raylan stuff in this episode. He didn't search for anything, did not question anyone, didn't try to solve the puzzle or kick any asses. He was just there looking into the camera with concerned eyes because he knows that Clement knows where Willa is. Of course, I get that it's very worrying to see your daughter being potentially in danger. But I don't think Justified is a series that is about a father-daughter drama. We are tuning in for an action-packed policy series. Besides, her daughter acts so nonsensical that I struggle with sympathizing with Raylan. She acts as the most unbearable form of a teenager whose only concern is to seek attention, and that's it. To receive that attention, she sees no problem in putting not only herself but also her father in danger. In this episode, she revealed that the reason why she hit that girl in her school was that she wanted to spend time with her father. What? It doesn't make any sense. She was supposed to be in a summer camp because of what she did, not spend time with her father. Also, if you see no harm in harming another person just to receive some attention from your already loving parent, then there is something really concerning about you. Of course, that's just my humble opinion. Thankfully, at the end of the episode, we saw her finally getting on a plane to her home. Of course, knowing how big of a deal the show made about this character before its premiere, I doubt that this is the last of us seeing Willa. I don't know how, but I bet she will find a way to return to her so-called beloved father and ruin our dear Raylan and his legacy. That's all I got for you guys today. What are your thoughts on Justified City Primeval Episode 3? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thank you for watching. See you soon.